say it's being handled, but we don't hear the outrage, you don't hear the outcry. Well, what's the plan? What's the way forward?
Barrister El-Rufai said something recently that this period is quite critical because the government are leaving and the other one is preparing to come in. So the government leaving, will want to close its books, make sure everything is okay and preparing to hand over to the next person, and then that the security agencies should be on alert that they might use that, hoodlums might use the opportunity to, attack bandits and the likes can attack communities because the government might be winding down and then dropping its guards.
He does have a point.
And then these kinds of things happen.
You would assume that will be the structure and the way these things move.
Absolutely, but it doesn't seem to be. Barrister, what do you make of this, especially this clash between Vikings and Black Axe confraternities here in Imo State?
Anyway, it's an unfortunate development. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think it has a political undertone. Because
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Because I say this because before now, we've been witnessing clashes here and there. It's an unfortunate development that we are talking about conventional insecurity in our land, and some young men, and in few instances, women are busy destroying their lives in the name of being members of a secret society in 2023. I'm able to say that anybody who joins any secret cult, all these cult they normally join, and now every now and then back on killing, with due respect, you are not sensible. In 2023, when your mates in other parts of the world, even here in Nigeria, are looking for how to make their lives better, your mates, there's one painful story that I know somehow to a great extent, because in an issue of this nature, you have to come forward with evidence. But I reasonably believe that the young man is a cultist. I don't even know if he's still around. From a very poor background, this young man's mother for years has been struggling, to make sure that this young man leads a better life. The woman, every morning, she wake up, go to market, sell food items. And ordinarily, this young man was to be a bright chap. At the end of the day, he ended up joining one cult group. And I will always ask, so the thank you told your mother, the thank you package for your mother after all her sufferings is to go and join cult. Clap for yourself now. You've tried. So what is playing out, I may be wrong, but I don't think it has political coloration. There are some type of crisis you witness, you now believe that maybe some persons are trying to maybe disrupt the smooth transition. Or maybe that one or two persons are trying to cause crisis. But to a great extent, I agree with El-Rufai in the sense that some governments may not, accord much attention to security because they are trying to wind up, they are trying to hand over to the incoming government. So some persons, those who are, those who even lost out may no longer passionate as far as governance is concerned. That's why I find some governors no longer exhibiting interest in completing some projects that are almost that ordinarily should be completed before leaving office. But this strange development, we normally witness court clashes every now and then. Even I lost a year when I was in the University of Nigeria because of this same issue. Immediately I got admission in 2002 to study law. When we are about doing this thing, court clash broke out in the University of Nigeria. Many lives were lost. So I'm using this opportunity to talk to our people. If you want to be a hard man, you don't join court by being a hard man. As you listen to me, I can tell you to a great extent I'm a hard man with my biro. Even without your court now, I can use my biro and land into serious trouble. You are a hard man, go to court and see the way court premises and see the way they are being remanded in prison custody.
No, why do people join court though?
There are myriads of factors behind this development. Poor orientation, inferiority complex. People who don't have the ability to make decisions of their own. These are some of the myriads of factors behind this development, and even the society itself. Because if you're talking about cultism at this lower level, you also have to look at the society. In this part of the world, it seems that we celebrate men who are prone to unleashing violence on the people. Because if you take a look at the history of these activities, find that some high-ranking members of society even belong to various secret societies. But when you take a look at some of these high-ranking members of the society, they are well-to-do. So you ask yourself, a rich man is luring you into cult. He's giving you guns, whereas he lives in a very beautiful apartment. You are a student, or you are a young man. instead of trying to prepare yourself, instead of trying to make your life better, you are busy wasting your life, precious life. So inferiority, just like when we were in school, in our school days.
Oh, he's hoping that at some point he might become the rich man too.
Not at all. In fact, basically, to me, this has to do with inferiority complex. Maybe you cannot stand and take decisions of your own. You want to belong to a group. You want to. Because if you're talking about secret society, you believe you cannot even stand firm and defend yourself without beckoning on other persons to come.
I'm thinking something, Barrister. I'm thinking something. If there are high-ranking members of the society who belong to these groups, and there are no consequences for being in that group, and they can become very powerful people in the society, become influential, doesn't it mean that there is almost like a reward in being in these groups? I want you to look at it from...
I understand perfectly, but comparatively speaking, when you look at, it's just like, let's use the political actors, for instance. Politicians, at times, they make use of talks, but you won't find them sending their own children to carry out some activities those talks carry out for them. Now, if you're a politician,
couldn't there be a consequence in such a way that if you probably have such a activity in your history, couldn't it be done in such a way that with such a history, you might not be able to vie for an office in the country, you might not be able to get certain things? Couldn't there be consequence?
No, in theory, constitutionally.
Yes.
Constitutionally, one who is a member of a secret society is not qualified to occupy any political office. It's there in our constitution.
So it is actually in the constitution.
Of course, it is there. But no, law is all about the evidence. And apart from being all about the evidence, let us even look at the Nigerian society. Okay. Starting from Enugu State, we live in an interesting society. Because we are now here this morning talking about secret cult. Don't be surprised that if you bring out a well-known cultist to run for a political office, and then bring out another person who is not a well-known cultist, most people who are listening to me now will vote the cultist. I am telling you, especially a society is the reflection of the people living in that society. If you look at America now, I'm telling you, look at America. Look at the type of persons governing America. It will tell you how Americans behave, how they reason. Forget about rigging. I'm telling you, look at this issue critically. You find that any society you look at, even Africa, even here in Nigeria, look at any successful society, maybe Nigeria. You find out that they have many people who think in a big way, who think in a pragmatic manner. It will reflect, it will show in the activities of that particular society.
So people would always deserve the leaders.
Exactly. No matter how you look at it. So bring up this argument 1,000 times, I will defend it. Even in the Bible, it's not something that's there today. The Jews said, to hell with Christ, give us Barabbas. Barabbas the criminal. They said, no, release Barabbas. Christ raised the dead, healed the sick, performed miracles in their presence. When the time came, they said, no, kill Christ, give us Barabbas. So it didn't start today. So as you're talking about cultists, don't bother our people. Most of us, all these things you are saying here, when the elections are around the corner now, forget about the constitution. They will tell you this man is a cultist. They say no problem. We are going to vote him top to bottom. Maybe if he's in a party you like, say vote him top to bottom. They don't want to know. Or he has more other factors to start coming up. We know ourselves in this society, so let's leave this issue. I'm only advising the young ones. If you want to be a hard man, for those who want to be a hard man, let me now advise my fellow youth. I've written a book on this issue, generally on Nigerian youth. That was in 2009. If you want to be a hard man in quotes, go and read your books. If you're a medical doctor, for instance, a renowned medical doctor, you be a hard man. Do you know why? Even when governors fall sick, they will go and look for you because you have something to offer. If you're a young man, go and read your books. If you become a renowned journalist, like some of you now, people always like to listen to you. That's what we call influence in society. You become a hard man. If you want to be a hard man, go and read your books. So you become a lawyer, a very strong lawyer. Even if you be a judge, you'll be sending other cultists to jail. You remand them there for life. They are the real hard man. If you want to be a super hard man, go and join the Nigerian military. We need your services there. Even here in Igbo land, some people are killing us in farm. Stop killing your brothers. Stop wasting your energy. If you like shooting gun, tell us. We enlist you in security services. You start carrying gun very well and start killing bad people, not innocent people. There are some countries fighting war, Ukraine and Russia. If you want to fight, tell us. We can go and nationalize there. Go and shoot there. If you know you can kill very well, make you a general. You go to Russia, UK. You now fight very well here. I'm telling you, not wasting your precious time here doing rubbish.
And
answering rubbish. You are exhibiting inferiority complex. You're not a hard man. I'm telling you. So we should get these people. All these youthful exuberance. Go and read your books if you want to be a hard. Chimamanda Adichie is not a hard woman.
I'm telling you.
Presidents listen to her. She's a hard woman. Chinua Achebe, even now that he's late, he's a hard man in the grave. We still read his books till tomorrow. Be a person of influence. That's how to be a hard man. If you are the church type, go and be a strong man of God. You be a hard man. You have your own cathedral. People will be coming there calling you that the GO. That's how to be a hard man. So not carrying gun, wasting your life, wasting your precious life, causing heartache for your parents and other members of the society. Say you're a hard man. Go to court now. When they catch them now, with your hard manners, they remand you in prison custody if you are caught. Even these politicians using you, some of them, if they are using you, they are also, most of them, they are successful before using you. Most of them, they are renowned people in society. And they are using you. Can't you use your brain? He said, you're a hard man, answering childish name. Hey, my God. Yeah. Rubbish, you are nothing. And we take you banga.
I mean, it's terrible.
That's why I don't know.
Very serious conversation.
I don't know.
But
I'm telling you the reality. As a magistrate, even a magistrate who is just a simple, even without muscle. In life, now I don't need muscle. I don't want to start mentioning some very powerful men in this country. Don't even have muscle. When you see them, you'll be surprised. Little with small size, but they do mighty things. It's not about carrying muscle, carrying gun. No.
you know, off the mic, you mentioned that some of them even take this thing abroad when they travel.
Exactly.
You know, we remember one time it happened in Dubai.
That's the most painful one, that you leave Nigeria, that you want to better your life. You now travel to a foreign country and start doing practicing courses in a foreign country. Now, are you sure you are okay? So you leave Nigeria, you enter plane. Your mother will go and give a testimony in church that Emeka has traveled. Apologies to any Emeka. Okay, that somebody has traveled. You will now go to one country. A news item will publish that Nigerians are fighting in some countries. You're in a country, some Nigerians are fighting in a country. You will not see your face. Clap for yourself now, you are trying. That's your achievement. You are trying. Your achievement. You travel to maybe US or UK or Dubai. Others are there practicing medicine and surgery, doing other things, even this Japan area. You are busy carrying gun. Moving around, showing your muscle.
Let's round up on this issue about a people that serve the leaders that they have. I want to take you up on that just a little bit. Are you really clear on the fact that the leaders that we have are a reflection of the people rather than the system?
Of the people.
Because sometimes the system might be skewed to throw up people who the people really doesn't deserve. It's just that the system has thrown up people who must be the leaders that must be chosen.
Not at all. The leaders we are getting, they are the desire of the people. I can forget about the noise about rigging. If you look at it critically, the leaders we are getting in Nigeria and in various states, various strata of the society, to a great extent, they are the output of our actions and inactions, whether we like it. I can prove it.
They're not a reflection of who we are.
No, they are
a reflection of the leaders that we really deserve. Because again,
we are getting the leaders we deserve.
But
I can prove it. Let me prove it.
Let's put it this way. I mean, in the last election, just remove Peter Obi from the equation.
Yes.
It would have been two horse race between Atiku and Tinubu.
Because of the people.
How?
Because there are other candidates.
The system.
No, not the system.
The system
because
threw these people up, and of course there's this allegation that both of them bought their way through.
No, remove it from the picture.
Yeah.
There are other 17 political parties remaining, and in those 17 political parties, we had candidates that also ran for that office. Remove these two candidates from these two dominant political parties, you will have dominant in quotes. You will have found other candidates, prima facie, who have done well as leaders. But the Nigerian people will reject them and reject them vehemently, giving you excuses, giving you reasons. Let me tell you the reasons they will give you. Let me draw an analogy. Let me use church analogy, because most of us go to church here. if you have a problem now, Charles, and you are being told that a prophet will solve that problem, who will you look out for? Will you look out for a prophet in a big cathedral, or in a prophet, even if it's a one-room minister that will solve that problem? Who will you approach?
The one that will solve the problem.
Excellence. Number two, I think you that have the problem, you'll be the one looking for that prophet. Then after you must have gotten that prophet, you will do everything that prophet wants you to do for that problem to be solved. You lead a product in a marketplace now. If you need to solve a particular problem, as a serious-minded citizen, you ask questions. Maybe a friend, please, where can I buy so maybe where can I buy a very beautiful golden ornament in Enugu? You ask questions. Number two, they will tell you, go to Ogbe, so shop. You will not look out for the biggest shop. At times, you may even find out best material in the biggest shop in town. Yet, you may go to a very small shop in Ogbe or in town where you buy that. I'm telling you that maybe this person or that person will have done well, but their political party, that party is like church or the ministry. They are no longer looking at the person that will solve that problem. Rather, they are looking for the person who belongs to a big church, number one. Number two, the same people who cried for years, now start saying no. Anybody who belongs to this church, well-known criminals run into this church, you will support them, say yes, we will support them. Just once they join that church, they become good people. That means they've not really suffered. Those who want liberation, those who want good leaders, we ask questions. They'll start saying, all this while, let us look at all these candidates, these 17 persons who ran for president, remove it from the picture. Who among them do we think, like you are looking for a product, can solve our problem? It is left for you to go and look out for that person. Look at America. In America, look at Obama. Governance. Discover that it's like this man is the solution to our problem at this point in time. And that's how he became the president. But in Nigeria, Charles, forget about the noise. I can tell you, if you like, talk Energy FM from today till next year. Next election, these same people tell you they don't have water in Enugu. They don't have good roads. They don't have this and that. They will start telling you the party you belong to, it doesn't have structure. It doesn't have structure. Or why didn't you join party? This party, so party. The same people looking for a good leader are now looking at parties. That is the reality. Now, forgetting that some of these big churches, big parties, before you pick the nomination form, pay 20 million naira. Someone coming to serve you, we pay 20 million naira to serve you. The Nigerian people will tell you, we will have voted you, but your campaign is not forceful. But you listen to the person for years. Listen to his ideas. You've heard him, but you want to see his face before you will vote him. But if you heard about the person, Charles, forget. When we are ready for good governance in this country, like you see Peter Obi, for instance. Peter Obi enjoyed massive support in some parts of Nigeria, but not all over Nigeria. So, as I speak to date, there are some persons, and of course, all of us must not vote Peter Obi. Let's get it right. But there are some persons in Nigeria who are also victims of bad governance. They are among those who vehemently kicked against him. Not because they kicked against him based on any cogent reason. They raised some primordial sentiments, some mundane reasons. I can tell you, look at the votes. Forget about the issue of rigging. Mind you, these votes were split by 3 powerful presidential candidates. In other words, there's something we are missing. If you should team up the votes of Peter Obi and Atiku, if you should merge these 2 votes together, Chief Tinubu wouldn't have won the election. Yes. In other words, both parties, they got a sizable number of votes. Yet, there are some common Nigerians, not even politicians, before we start talking about rigging, for no just cause, they vehemently resisted him. They vehemently say, we don't want this person. And it will continue happening that way until the day the common man in the street wants to be saved. That's when they, just like those looking for medicine, will now say, we have a problem of bad governance. Let us look out for men or women who, going by what they have done or what we think they may do from their actions, can save us. Forget about the noise we are making. Just forget about it. Our people, we are getting the leaders we deserve. We are getting the leaders after. And at times, let me now bring the spiritual dimension. At times, God will look at us and say, okay, these people are not yet ready for change. He will now bring out people that will flog us very well. Let me tell you one thing. If you believe in God, in the Bible, every leader comes from God. It's in the Bible. Before I used to challenge that belief, at times I used to say, does it mean if I rig the election, I'm also from God? The answer is this. If God does not want you to be a leader, you will sleep, you will not wake up. The God I know, you will sleep, you will not wake up. But at times, look at what God does, what I believe. When God discovers that people are not yet ready for good governance, that people are truly not ready, they are still chasing mundane things, they are still being beclouded by emotion, they are still running after political parties, God will say no problem. He will go and send that one leader to flog you the more. Just like at times, it's because of sin. Those who are religious say that when the people are sinning, God will send down leaders to punish them. So whenever you see a leader, either good or bad, at times when God wants to have mercy on the people, he will send a good leader. When he wants to punish them, he will send a bad leader to deal with them. So that the Nigerians I know, in the Enugu state, those who were crying, making noise on radio stations for years, elections came around the corner. They threw everything away, and they are looking at political parties. Enugu people voted political party. Those who look at Anambra State, for instance. Look at the House of Assembly makeup of Anambra. You find political device, very just mix up. In other words, to a great extent in the House of Assembly, Anambra people believe in voting individuals. But those who don't want positive change, look at the giving society, Charles. Look at the voting pattern. Because let me tell you, if most Nigerians believe, for instance, example, voting Peter Obi, he will have won the election. Let me say, if
the system, again, that's why I say this system again. You know, in court, you can't really say categorically the leaders that have emerged is a reflection of the people.
It is, Charles.
Even though it's not yet ascertained, but the other parties are claiming huge rigging, huge buyouts. Even though it's not yet been determined, we saw what happened in Rivers. Even Wike himself came out just recently and said Peter Obi won the election.
Yes, let me point out something. People will be crying this and that for years. Election will come up. They will go back and vote the same people. Because they now moved into another party. If you tell you that these persons are the same, they will say, we don't want to know. They'll be giving you excuses. Some will tell you, why didn't you? Let me use myself as an example. I use myself as an example. Some will tell you, why did you come out for governorship? You should have vied for chairmanship, a smaller post. And I told them, once upon a time, I vied for chairmanship. Did you vote me? The person will disappear. The answer is no. So we tell you, from experience, activists don't make good leaders. Most activists. In other words, they don't want you. But forgetting that Oshomole, for instance, before he became the governor of Edo State, he never had a perfect government. But if you want to tell yourself the truth, his government witnessed a reasonable departure from what used to be the case in time past before he became the governor of Edo State. Some will tell you, this is your party. Your party doesn't have structure. That means the voted party, they're no longer looking at what you want. So we saw many things. If you remove me from the picture, I saw those who ran for House of Reps. I don't want to start mentioning names. Who ordinarily, these are people that can at least talk. If they go to House of Reps, they can address the people. Enugu people said, we want to create structure for some persons. You now start remembering structure. Enugu people rejected them from top to bottom. And tomorrow they'll be making noise, making phone calls. We are not ready for good governance. Go and watch America. Let me tell you, some of us who lost the election, this election, if you are to be the place like America or UK, we will win with landslide. Because people will assess you, but Enugu people, from the way they voted, they've shown the world that they are still much more interested in party. And this is what happens in most part of Nigeria. They are still much more interested in their tribesmen, not the person that can save them. That's why someone like Ganifa with me. And what I mean, when the people are ready, the person must not win. No. There's the way the people will vote. Even if you read the election, like what happened in Kenya during the Raila Odinga crisis, you will know that this person did not win, but from the body language of the people, that there's a place they are moving to, even though maybe the status quo is resisting them. That is why you now say that, okay, the people now want something good, but the system is now fighting back against them. Not when they behave like those who are not yet actually suffering. And that's why at times God will look and say, no problem. You people are not yet ready for change. You people don't. I will continue sending those that will continue flogging you until maybe one day you sit down and start assessing every individual based on what that individual will offer before the society will move forward. Because ordinarily, if we have visionary leaders, automatically this society will become better. So whatever I said Nigeria is not moving forward, the answer is this: the Nigerian people, most of us, we don't like good leaders. No matter how you deny it. Critically, we don't like good leaders. They tell you just as a party, even when those parties pay 20 million naira, 30 million naira, 50 million for nomination form alone. Somebody coming to serve you, you pay 20 million naira, you are happy supporting such persons. Forget. Let's discuss another thing. Forget it.
Someone said something that Nigerians don't need good people, good men as leaders.
Yeah, that person said that yesterday.
They'll rather have actually proactive men who can actually make things happen, not necessarily good men as leaders. well, let's leave that discussion there. I think we would come
That's
to
a very deep conversation.
We'll come to
I
that.
have heard so many people say that Nigeria doesn't need a good man.
They don't like good leaders. They may tell, like if you say now, do you love me? Say yes, I love you. I love is not by saying it. Apart from the one we tell women so that they be happy. Love is a practical something.
Right.
If you love someone, you have to show it by the way you behave towards the person. So Nigerians may say we love good leaders, but sit down, ask yourself some critical questions. The way you voted in this election, most of us voted like those who not actually want to bring in people that will make the land. That we don't want them. We don't.
Okay, we would expand on that a little later on the show, so say sometimes next week. President Muhammad Buhari says that he is scoring his administration pretty high in the just concluded election, saying that the election was transparent and he's leaving a legacy of free, fair
Election, the most free and fair election that the country
and
has
that
ever had.
APC actually lost in some places. Even the president even lost his state to the PDP.
I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah,
That
so-
this is the best.
Do you score him high though? Do you score him 70, 80, 90? I'm sure that with what he has just said, he's probably be thinking in that region
I'm
of
thinking
70
over
up to
10,
100.
over 100.
Anyway, the answer Mr. President gave is subjective. And I think he shouldn't be a judge in his own case. I think he should have allowed neutral Nigerians to be the ones to decide whether he did well or not. So, ordinarily, you shouldn't have expected him to come forward to say that he didn't do well. It was only the late President Yara, or former President Yara, that accepted that the election that threw him up wasn't all that credible. So, having said that, what I have to say about the just concluded election is this. To me, despite the fact that some progress was recorded here and there, like in his own state in which the opposition party won, but nevertheless, we take a holistic examination of that particular election, especially with regard to the innovations contained in the new Electoral Act. With due respect, INEC and maybe let's say government at large, they didn't live up to expectation. So that let's say, for instance, in Enugu, for the first time after a long period of time, we now had members of the opposition winning political seats. Ordinarily, on the face of it, we have said, okay, good, that after all, another political party, not being the ruling party, won seats. But I'm using Enugu say for instance, but generally, when you look at the conduct of the election itself, I think maybe you agree with me that, notwithstanding the outcome, that there was reasonable or substantial non-compliance with the provisions of the law across the country, going by the complaints, especially with regard to beavers. Because many persons developed interest in the just concluded election because of the manner in which we thought beavers would have functioned. In fact, Yaga Africa, when they were making advertisement before the election, that was when I got the website for IREV. And from the publication they made, I felt that even by the evening of the day, the president, I would have known the winner of the election, owing to the fact that we are promised that as the this thing is going on, the collation exercise is carried out at the polling unit level, that results will be transmitted or transferred, whichever one, directly using beavers. So, and the failure of beavers now gave rise to many prima facie irregularities. I know the Lai Mohammed has come to give a conflicting report, different from that given by INEC, as to what happened with beavers. But the presumption is that, to me, this matter is already subject, but most of us believe that the system was compromised intentionally, to defeat the intention of that particular law that will have guaranteed free and fair elections. So, in a nutshell, even if you lost your state, Mr. President, with due respect, or even if the opposition won in some places, generally the manner in which that election was conducted, it didn't meet the expectations of most right-thinking members of the Nigerian society, irrespective of whether it favors you or not. That's my own estimation. I think this controversy or this suspicion will have been whittled down if there was substantial compliance with the transmission or transfer of results from the polling unit collation level. Because in an election, it's difficult, honestly, to find contestants, candidates in the election totally agreeing with the outcome in good faith. If it does happen in some instances, after I've conducted an election, where at the end of the day, some parties who lost weren't happy, but no one came forward to say that the election was rigged, because definitely if you lose the election, you will not be happy. So but that failure, that beavers failure, honestly, make the election to be flawed. So anybody raising any issue will be justified to do same.
All right, you're listening to Energy 105.5. Well, let's switch gears now. Let's talk about this May 3rd census and May 5th. We understand that it's going to happen. There's not going to be any shifting. I think that shifting was done just once. The controversy around this particular one is state of residence versus state of origin. So many persons think that state of residence is better. Some others think, how would you not say state of origin is good, given that you have to identify yourself? But I don't know what you think about that. Do you feel that state of residence should be much more projected than state of origin? Because it has to be one. If you don't do state of residence, you are going to either take state of origin or state of residence. What do you think about that?
Anyway, what I have to say about this question is this. It's a very dicey one. Ideally, it should be state of residence, not state of origin.
Really?
Yes, because we should ask ourselves, first of all, what's the essence of this census? Before I proceed, I even have to make it clear at this juncture that I'm not all that comfortable with the idea of population and housing census. If you look at the law, when I mean the law, the Nigerian Constitution, this is a federal state. Federal government has powers over census. It falls within the exclusive legislative list, apart from section 213 of the Constitution. But the issue of housing, let me not say the one I'm not sure of, but I think I've glanced through the two lists. I think the housing falls within residual list. So saying census and housing population is an anomaly. Sorry, population and housing census is an anomaly. Population census. Because why am I raising this issue? Now, the National Population Commission is now trying to, why carrying out this census, trying to also rely on the demography, the number of buildings in a given location, why trying to juxtapose it vis-a-vis the population. But ideally, whenever you are embark on population census, you are trying to know the number of persons in a given place. So that it now help government in this policy. Assuming we have 10 persons living in this environment, government will now know, okay, because of that, we have to provide so and so facilities. Let's say we need to post so and so doctors in the hospital within this environment. Ordinarily, this government should have so and so number of doctors to take care of so and so. So in an ideal society, you should based on state of residence. After all, your state of residence, that's where you pay tax. You live there, you stay there, so that, and that's where you live ordinarily. So that at the end of the day, when the exercise must have been carried out, the government will now know the facilities to be brought to that place. However, the problem is this. Nigerian factor, tribalism, and painfully enough, we are still coming out of the election season because some persons, Nigerians who live in states different from that of their origin, we are being subjected to some form of discriminatory practices. You stay in a particular state, pay tax, pay everything, then during the election, you are being told one way or the other that you may not vote because you are being suspected that your vote will go towards a particular direction. And some persons, to a great extent, rightly so, are now asking questions. Why do you now expect me to be counted that I live in a particular state? Whereas you want to benefit from my presence, but you don't want me to assert my right. Because, for instance, if I'm not from Enugu State, and I stay in Enugu State, and I'm counted in Enugu State, it will benefit the Enugu environment. That should be the ideal thing because I stay here. But now, how come that you want to benefit from me, but when it is now time for me to assert my right as a Nigerian citizen living in Enugu State, you don't want me to do that? In other words, I have to go back home, at least so that at least the figure to be gotten from my own home. Because even issues like local government creation, allocation, resources, all these things ideally are being determined based on the available facts, available figures that's at the disposal of the government of the day. So I don't want to make any prediction that will dissuade people, but I see this census being controversial, if you ask me my sincere opinion, in the sense that if you look at the law, at the end of every census exercise, the census report will be presented to the president, and the acceptance by the president will be dependent on the advice given by the Council of State. So it is when they advise the president to accept the outcome of the census that the president will not table it before the National Assembly. And the Nigeria census is as good as you are about embarking on another round of election now. In a civilized in ideal society where you don't have all this ethnic and tribal sentiment, playing out seriously, people wouldn't have had any problem. They'll say, yes, conduct census. After all, if I stay in JJJ state or TTT state, whether I'm an indigenous or not, I do enjoy rights and benefits that are accrued to me as a Nigerian citizen. So if we had a scenario where we have such an environment to a great extent, then nobody will care about going back to his or her state of origin. So you find out that the people, for instance, if at the end of the exercise now, the members of the Council of State, if you don't represent your people, if your people are complaining that they are not comfortable with the outcome of the census, your people even see as a sellout. That this our leader, who is a member of the Council of State, that he's a sellout. So let's just see how the whole thing will be managed. Most especially now that it's been said that it will be digital, like the 2006 own. So it's as good as you're about going to another round of elections. So that's why I said in an ideal scenario, it should be done based on state of residence. But because of politics and the reality on ground and the manner in which the country has been polarized, I don't know. I leave it open.
But do you feel that in any way this should have maybe been done in the new administration of Bola Tinubu instead of this particular one that is winding down? Do you think there's some politics around it?
Anyway, even if there is, at times you have to look at the law. The law empowers this government. In fact, census is even long overdue.
Yeah.
So if there's any ulterior motive behind them being done, maybe some person is trying to inflate figures. The truth is that even in the absence of President Buhari, we've always known that census figures in this country normally favor the North, with due respect to our brothers, but that's the reality on ground. Whether I have a Southern president or not, census figures normally, that's where the controversy normally comes from, Northern, Southern. But maybe the game will have been more balanced if you have a Southern president supervising the census. After a lot of 2006, Chief Obasanjo was the president then, and as a Southerner, But when you have a Northerner being in charge when census is being conducted, it may create room for more suspicion, even though no law prohibits him from organizing census. No law stops him from doing that. In fact, it's even long overdue. The only thing we are looking at is whether the census will be credible to a great extent. And we even encourage our people here to even register, apart from the national politics, even locally. Even if you're having issues with Nigeria, at least come out to be counted. Let us know the number of persons in the Enugu. Not every year, for almost 20 years. What's the population of Nigeria? 180 million. For how many? Since 1999, we've always been 180 million.
Do you have any reservation for the means of counting this census? We heard it's going to be them sending normal ad hoc staffs to go around and collect this data. Do you think it's still a thing even now? Shouldn't it have been an online procedure?
No, even if it's done digitally, you still need the presence of human beings to move around, present them the facilities. This is not about those who are adults alone, so to speak. This time around, even children will be counted. So you need people who still move around.
There will definitely have to be human involvement.
Exactly, to a great extent, human involvement. But we only ordinarily, to reduce controversies, embracing digital means will help. Something like electronic transmission of data compile, or even registration itself. I don't know the type of machines they will use. Maybe
we have an IRF problem already. Don't you think that
I hope we'll not have another round of go to court at the end of the census exercise. Say that the Enugu state will now have 50 million Nigerians living in the Enugu. If you don't agree with us, go to court. Or tribunal. Go to tribunal because the courts are already filled up. So say go to tribunal.
The courts are filled up.
I really pity our judges. They are passing through trying times because the petitions, the processes, everything. It's no child's play. Honestly, you may not understand the enormity of work they are attending to. A single petition you might come across about 2,000 pages. A single human being.
It means after May 29th, things are going to get really hot.
No, they're already on it now. They're already, probably by now, they're already going through processes, going through processes filed by parties. I have to read everything line by line, the arguments, everything, the pressure. Nigerians are just, it's not an easy job.
Tough season for lawyers.
No, for judges.
For judges.
But a very beautiful season for some lawyers.
Really?
Lawyers many lawyers now who are involved in election cases, they are smiling to the banks. those of them who are Christians, they'll be going to church for Thanksgiving, except those who don't like telling their church leaders that God has blessed them. They will make the money and they will keep quiet. They will say, I can manage, but that they are making millions of dollars. Because election petition is very lucrative. All these politicians who don't have any problem giving out 30, 40, 50 million naira, you know, they don't see it as any money. Say, I will just make sure you deliver the goods, make sure you claim my mandate or you protect my mandate. How much? How much is involved? Stop talking too much, lawyer. How much? He says, it's 100 million naira. Give me your hazard. They will send the money. And the lawyer will be smiling, even though you have to work tirelessly. They pay such money. People make money in this country. People are, I'm telling you, in this Nigeria, that some people are trying to run away from. There are those who don't want to leave Nigeria. They are making serious money. They are swimming in money, even more than this man. Sorry, man, no, but OBO. I say has 30 billion. There are those who are in serious money.
0700 1055 1055. Join the conversation this morning. 0700 1055 1055. You can also call 0700 1055 0000. Join the conversation as well on Facebook, facebook.com/Energy FM 105.5. We'd love to hear from you as always. Let's see.
Good morning. You're welcome, sir. Your name and location. Welcome, sir.
To give the first caller this morning. We have been long and I called last. Since I want to thank Barrister for the other analysis they are doing, and I want to just react to the issue of Census this morning. This Census, actually, the way they're going about it seems that they are not going to have this time around, especially as regards to the data that are given. At this moment, no training for the local government level as they break it. So I don't think, and this thing is going to be digital as they are saying, and actually I have participated in one of their trainings, in some of their trainings, and I see actually that going digital entails a lot of training in terms of the people who are going to do the work in the field. So for now, this makes sense to me. It's not realizable at all. And about the state of origin and the state of residence, I think, ideally, like Bartome has said, it should have been, it is state of residence that should have mattered. But as the thing is in Nigeria, everybody is looking to, at least people in his own region, his own ethnic group. So, in Nigeria, we are doing different concepts. We know what our people like. Our people count their ethnic group before they count in Nigeria. So I think we should adopt actually and not treating the Western world where the way they plan their own. But for here, all of us, including the leaders, including the people who are living on, they know that they count their ethnicity before anything, before any other kind of before Nigeria. And in terms of whether this thing is going to favor the North or from the trainer, I don't think there's not.
All right.
Thank you, Ifeanyi from Ihamufu. Let's talk to you. Good morning. You're welcome, sir. Name and location. Welcome, sir.
The point me may go 2 grams that day. We are giving a try. The thing is this: the people that see that their votes didn't count, how do you expect them to trust the same system in counting them?
But hold on. There hasn't been any clear, point of call about ascertaining whether vote counted or not. The matter is in court. How about you allow the court process to finish before you can now make this type of comment? Okay, I didn't think you were flying though.
Good. So what I'm saying is this: in as much say that the matter is in court. We are Nigerians, just like the barrister Ogbe analyzed. Are we not tired of knowing the truth and saying the matter is in court? Are we not tired of if somebody takes my phone by force, but they say I should take him to court, I should go to court, and that the matter is in court? So the thing is this, even the media, like I know what you're doing, you're trying to, give a stop.
It's not a matter of soft landing. We're just following the rules. I mean, it's just the rules that is governing, this thing.
Can I finish? We saw what happened in the election. We are saying you are following the rules. Yes, the rules, but we saw what I did. By example, in the studio, make a valid point that the people are not tired. When you say the people, it covers religion, politics, the media, everybody, nobody is tired. I used to have this argument with my friend. I said, Nigerians are tired of bad governance. He said, no, that we are not tired. And when we are tired, we will rise up. When we were tired of that behavior, we saw what happened. Everybody all over the nation rose up against it. Now we are not tired of Nigerian politics and their leadership. So it's showing in local government elections, state government elections, even family elections, even in Ogbe election Ogbe. People are not tired. When they are tired, they know what to. How can somebody like Barr come out? I'm not saying he must win, but he didn't get enough votes. I'm here, I come to support him over the radio. I'm from Anambra, so I can't vote for him. But if we look closely, we see that we have not been able to decipher by ourselves who the right candidates are. So we are still following party, we are still following tribe, we are still following religious sentiment. So we are tired of all these things. I think Tinubu should become our president and deal with us more. Deal with us, not become.
Yeah. Hello, Oga. I don't know how to go about this type of conversation. Look, you have to understand something. There are rules and regulations, okay? Things may have gone wrong. I mean, international community, those who even observe the elections, say substantially that election did not meet the standard that Nigerians were expecting it to meet. It's that simple. Now, how do you now ascertain that? You can't sit in your house and just ascertain it, There should be a competent court of law that would give us that jurisdiction to now say, you know what, this particular election was severely flawed and A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3 should happen. But an aggregate of all of these things will really not take us anywhere. But what I'm saying is, please, when you are making comments, be careful how you go make these comments. By saying the present-elect should go on and deal with us more, governor should go on and deal with us more, how does it sound to you? I mean, you're on live radio, and people are listening to learn a thing or two. So when you diminish the conversation by making those kinds of comments, it really doesn't make any sense. Please. Hello? Good morning. You'd like to reserve your name?
For this contribution too. Now,
okay, well, at least tell us where you're calling from.
See, those court guys, the way they are operating here in Enugu, but it's not welcome by anybody. And those of them who are in the corridors of power are sponsoring this voice. For me, nothing will make me to join this. There's one that approached me recently. To ask him, I said, would they be paying us at the end of the vote? The reason he gave me was not accepted by me. Some of our youth who are thinking to be somebody in life, somebody will decide to join court. For what? What are you benefiting from that? The only thing you can get is when they haven't clashes, they will kill you. So for me, have gone already. And you see some other person who are also warming up to join maybe next time. In this country, there's a bill in the House of Assembly, even in the National Assembly. If they get you as a court man, you should be sentenced to death. If you are this to reduce drastically. But if they leave it the way it is, court recently we are meant to understand this belongs to the enemy. But now, he has to in the Holy Ghost, who doesn't even know anything. He joined court. What are you doing there? He has there to protect yourself. Like the way the barrister said. Barrister said, you're a hard man because you have something on them. You're a hard man because you can carry a gun and go to war and fulfill. You cannot carry a gun and begin to go down the street and begin to kill your fellow woman.
Well, you can't be asking for jungle justice in this case. Even if anyone is caught, you must go through the process.
Yeah, we agree there must be consequences.
In order to ascertain whether you are the extent of how the law can basically deal with you. Apex, good to have you.
Good morning, Mr. Apex.
They are in school. That is bad. So what I want to say now, let me come from this angle. This question you are asking Barrister Sido is like bringing a rape case to a female judge who has been raped many times ago. I don't think that she will do justice to me. We will send the person to hell. Another one is party issues. There is nobody that can be going to Lagos now and they will go and hire Keke to take him to Lagos. It will be very difficult for him to reach the Lagos. We have spent time with that number. Sido is a good brand. But can he emulate people who left PDP and still go ahead to get a national party that can be accepted in the nation? His party, yes. People will say, do you know that when Sido was vying for chairman, I went to the pool to vote for him in my ward at Opunano Ward 9. Getting to that place, I lost that the party. I don't even remember the name of the party again. I was so confused that I went home and I cried because this is the only person I wanted to vote for, that governorship election, chairmanship election, when he was vying for South chairman. So sometimes when having been Sido is the Labour Party, when this level of 18 was moved, can you tell me that all this thing that happened that we will not even stake our life? One of the things that makes some of us to say that we cannot vote Sido Kedoga is because he was among the people who raped some people like Sido. Many of their colleagues came to this station to confess how they raped other candidates, the rigging. So when you are asking him about what we have, whether it's the system or the party or the people, he will not give you the correct answer. Having lost the election in so many times, and he's not losing this election because it's not popular. He's losing this election, one, because of rigging. And they say, no, you are not telling us that we, the people, are the people who is rigging the election. You have seen how the presidential election has happened. It's the system and the people that is in charge who decided to rip us. Even if you have that 85 you are talking about on P2B, and they decided to do what they want to do, you can't prevent them. How do you know? So, I know these everything. How do we fight them? They have money, they have medicine, they have police, and you can see what happened in Adamawa. That they spotted somebody that come and do illegality that is against the law, and the law enforcement agency is behind the person who is committing offense. Do you know that there is intention to commit a offense? You are supposed to be arrested, but you will see a law enforcement agency supporting somebody that is. You have already seen it. Not even in the video. How enforcement agency is helping to complain at the legal election. Is it we the masses that we are blaming now are the responsible for such an action? We are ready to change. All this, you are going to see the system is so bad. After having Sullivan team in Enugu, do we deserve somebody like Ugwanye? The answer is no. After having Goodluck Jonathan, do we deserve, when our economy is growing, do we deserve somebody like Buhari? The answer is no. But you can see the system, and some people who have vowed that Nigeria cannot work, coming up to hijack. You know how we spend our time and our energy to make people to go and collect their privilege and vote. What never happened? Is it we? Is it not the system? Let us understand that, yes, the masses, we will not outlaw all the people that don't want Nigeria to work. But we will not take the fact that Nigerian system has contributed 95% of why we have bad leaders. You know, just simple the law electoral act that we have signed recently. You will see the tsunami that happened. Not only that Peter Obi was a wave, but that electoral act helped a lot to take a lot of people we don't want in the system out of the system. So we'll be working very, very well. Had it been this system was carried out correctly and the election of presidents was transmitted from the polling units, are we going to be talking this thing today concerning your own capacity? But when our soldiers will know their own capacity, everything will go in normal way. But the system has refused to give us free and fair election because if we have the system, the reason why we have a lot of corrupt people in America. Let me tell you something. Do you know Trump? Trump would have been one of the worst American presidents. Had it been American system is not working, he would have, in fact, I am alleging that Trump is from one of the African leaders who wanted to impose himself by fire by force. But you see how system threw him off.
All right.
We need good men, he says. Good morning.
What's your name and location?
Amen.
You're welcome.
Evangelist, welcome.
What you are saying, I want to speak on the coming census. My concern is mostly on insecurity. There is no way we will be in fear everywhere, and the people are talking about census. Who are the people to come out? Who are the people to conduct it? Where are the people to stand in order to count this or to conduct this thing? First of all, let the government put a security measures and machinery inadequate situation so that people will now trust what they are doing. And the secondly, issue of people being marginalized during the voting because they are not from home. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I think we still be a problem. So I'm suggesting let the government do the needful. Let people life be secure. It's okay.
I think we have some messages from Facebook. You can join the conversation on Facebook at MJ 155 FM. Of course, that's the fan page. You can also go to Energy 105.5 FM Enugu, and you will be a part of the conversation. Let's read out some of your comments. This one's coming from Paul Chineduatu. He says the problem is the problem we have is patience. We always pretend to be practicing democracy when we know we are actually not close to practicing it. Alright, that was from Paul Chineduatu. And this is coming from Obioma Onyebunam. It says Energy FM radio station. I greet everyone in the studio. We greet you right back. Also, this is coming from Ali Samuel Obunaya. He says, good morning, Energy FM and Barrister CD. Thank you for educating us on Energy FM. God will help you with your dream in 2027. Enugu people may not know that they need to vote a person like you. Okay, he's texting us from Obuno in Abugo. Alright, thank you, Annie Samuel Obunaya. Francis Mbang is saying, good morning, Energy FM. Thanks to Barrister CD. I love your analysis so much. Okay, so let's see if we can, is it time for him to round it up?
Just before we get to him, let's take this call. Hello? Good morning. You're welcome.
Yeah. Is it wrong for Nigerians to call on radio and share their views on how they think the 2023 election went?
But you have always done that. You have always done that. It's all up to you. What you are saying is you can discourage others who want to do opposite of what you're doing. You know, it's okay to have that opinion. Remember, the opinion is
personal.
It's personal.
It's your personal decision.
You could discuss with some other person that they tell you the election is free and fair. They tell you, well, the president is telling you that he lost his home state. The chairman of the APC is saying he lost his own state. The president-elect lost his own state. So if somebody can analyze and can tell you that it's free and fair. So it's all up to you. Have that opinion, share it as much as possible. But when you try to want to, impose your opinion on people and make it look like, they don't have their own opinion to express.
Their own decisions.
Yeah, census is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Nobody is saying it's a bad thing. So, but do not say to the people on the radio that they shouldn't participate, or nobody should count you because you're going to beat them. You are promoting violence on radio.
That's right.
So please try as much as possible to understand the Chile. All right. We love your calls. We love your opinion. They are quite critical. We appreciate it. But please, we're a radio station that also want to uphold the rules and regulation of broadcast. Barrister Sigi.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to thank the callers who called in on the various opinions they expressed. With regard to the issue of census, honestly, I would like to encourage our people to be part of it. Just like politics, it's said that politics is local. Now, if you are having problems with Nigeria, as an entity, maybe with regard to some actions and inactions of some political stakeholders in the country, we should also look at the adverse consequences of our own actions and inactions. Because in 2006, most of us, we aren't counted. Most of us from this part of the country, we aren't counted. Now, if you don't come out, the presumption will be that we have fewer number of persons living here. And whether you like it or not, it will affect us one way or the other. Now, let us assume that the outcome of the census will be skewed in favor of a particular people. No problem. It's possible it will happen. We are Nigerians. Yet, when our people do the needful here, at least we know that we no longer have, let's say, 1 million persons living in the Enugu, that you're up to, let's say, 10 million now. So that if ordinarily we have gotten 1% of benefit from the government, we may end up getting 5%. And it will help affecting positively the lives of 1 or 2 persons. And I'm even calling on the government of the day, the incoming leaders of the Southeast, to use the executive order to make it compulsory that people will register. At times, as a leader, you have to take some decisive actions. You even do that indirectly. Like, for instance, if you have children who are students of institutions of learning, while paying their school fees, you also have to present evidence that they are part of the census exercise. And you make an ultimatum, giving it, passing across to owners of private institutions. Submit the particulars of your students, their guardians, showing that they are part of the census exercise. So in doing that, indirectly, you compel people to register. Because it's going to affect us adversely. So whether you like Nigeria or not, it's a different issue. You have the so right not to be happy with some ongoings in this environment. Yet you have to do what will benefit you. Like what happened? Immediately the presidential election didn't go in favor of some of our brothers from here. They refused to participate in the governorship election. Forgetting that if you have a bad president, for instance, and a good governor, you benefit. If you have a good president and a bad governor, you are in trouble. These are different tiers of government. But our people, it has always been happening that way, even since 2007. Once their presidential candidate doesn't win, they will say they don't have any reason. Forgetting that even though this election, as I said earlier, to me, didn't meet up to expectations, yet the members of opposition won in some places. So because maybe one or two persons that you wanted to win didn't win, you now decided that everything should be scattered. It doesn't work that way. And finally, my issue, I don't want to take it personal. That's not the topic of discussion today. But before I have thanked those that voted me. Of course, people voted me. But the truth is this. As far as I'm concerned, I still thank those who voted me. But from the handwriting on the wall, there are those, because Apes gave the Keke example, there are those, some good, professionally good candidates who vie for their offices, who contested under popular political platforms. They even had the resources. Those ones, they campaigned very well, more than I did. They mounted billboards many places. They had party agents, because there are some persons who say that they voted that we didn't see party agents. Yet, ordinary, these are candidates that I don't want to mention, they will know some of them, that ordinary we thought they would have won because maybe they had become good lawmakers. But some people from the way they voted say that we don't, from their vote, they say we don't want you. So it's not personal, it's not a do or die affair. But I just made an analysis of my personal observation. But it's all about what the people want. Because a Keke can go to Lagos if that is the only option you have. Highest, if you take 1 month to get to Lagos. If you get asked about your pack, refuel, after 2 days, you continue your journey. If the Keke is the only means that will take you, it's better you enter Keke and go to Lagos than to enter plane, jet, and then while going to Lagos, you now find yourself in the Atlantic Ocean.
All right, let's leave it there. Barrister, we'll leave it there.
Thank you, Barrister, for coming around.
I appreciate it.
The news is next. Have yourself a beautiful weekend. Charles is my name.
Top stories on our days.